Hello, so here's a little guide to how to use the calculator. Here, this is my version of the calculations, which you will have to copy using here file make a copy, or to use as a downloadable file in Excel or any other Sheets app in order to be able to modify it. Once you've got the copy done or download the files, you'll be on the main calculator screen. So everything you see here will be the results of the calculations. In orange are the values you can change, and red here will be the final DPS of the team, and white are the statistics you might find useful. So here you will have the damage per second or per rotation of every character, and in total for the team, using the parameters set in the rest of the sheet. Which means here you have your team, Yoimiya, Fischl, Duran, Chevers, which you can select. Like, there are two options, either Bennett or Chevy, with the constellation levels here. Yoimiya at constellation 0, Fischl at constellation 6, and so on and so forth. And then you will have each of them with their designated weapon. 5-star weapons are by default at refinement 1. 4 stars are at refinement 5. And here you have the statistics of their builds when they are not yet buffed. Here you can switch between manual builds or Kaching main standard builds. Like, for example, here Yoimiya has the manual build selected. If I switch it to Kaching main standard, you'll see that the DPS score is lower because I have a decent build. You can modify builds in this tab, the builds tab. If possible, only modify the values in orange, otherwise it might break things. And you can change what you want and take a look at how it changes the total DPS value of the team. Like, for example, switching to Duran's R1 lets you gain about 12% DPS, a bit more. Over here you have the percentage of damage done in regards to the team's total damage. So, for example, Yoimiya is doing a bit less than half the team damage in this configuration. Other than that, you will have here a few benchmarks I did, like so with the weapon and the constellation for each character. I only did this for the Chevers variant, as it is a decent margin above the Bennett variants in most cases. So here you have the DPS, the percentage increase over a free-to-play Yoimiya Fischl Duran Chevers team, and the cost of the team. So I'm sure you're privy to this. The one cost is 1 5-star, and here what I recommend for the vertical investment you might want. And here, in case you want to check the calculations, you will have everything I calculated for the rotations. The calculations I did were done on 3 consecutive rotations, with the rotation written here. It will change accordingly depending on whether it is for Bennett or Chevers. And here are the calculations for the Chevers team, here for the Bennett team. If you take a look inside, I tried to name everything accordingly, according to what they represent. So enemy defense mult is calculated here. It is dependent on the Kaching main standard, on the Kaching main's damage formula. which is in theory the one used by the game. So here, in case you want to review my calculations, you can do so easily. I did a quick note over here explaining the naming behind every variable. So for example, power resonance will be the 0.25 attack multiplier you get when you have pyro resonance. Underscore C, well, generally underscore and the letter corresponds to the character it is related to. For example, underscore C will be Chevrolet. Then E buff will be the value or the parameter that is associated with this character. So E buff, it is the buff from her skill, the 40% attack. Then you have, for example, here it is Yoimiya's N1 underscore 1, Yoimiya Q hit, and so on and so forth. So you can review the calculations if needed, but overall you will mostly be using this page, as it is more, well, most of you only need this. So for example, if you want to take a look at how a Yoimiya will perform with Fischl with the new bow, you'll select Daybreak Chronicles, and if you want, for example, during C2R1, you'll get C2 and his sword. Then Chevrolet, you can select. I only selected these two lances as they are really the only two that count. There is another one, but I chose not to use it because it is a bit more complicated and not really as useful as Veronius lance. That I believe that is most. Oh, and one last thing: enemy level and enemy resistance will be the parameters linked to, well, the enemy. So for example, in the Abyss, you'll find enemies up to level 100 with resistance going up to, for example, 70%. So if you switch to 70%, you'll see that the DPS changes accordingly. And you'll see that, well, for example, a Traverse team will perform much better than a Bennett team at high resistance. And lastly, you've got a reference here for the free-to-play classic Overload team with Bennett and Chevrolet at 73.4 thousand damage per second, which is at enemy resistance 10% and level 100. So I believe that's all you should need, but if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them. Yeah. Have a great day, and thank you for, well, doing the content you do.